Hello and welcome to another episode of This Week in Goldmaking, presented by darkshorecapital. It's currently November 20th, 2018. Let's take a look at the weekly update for the week. WoW tokens on both EU and US are up approximately 14 and 9%. That's 10k in the US and 20k in the EU. Interesting little bump in price. Not really sure what there is to explain that, as this has been a few weeks since BlizzCon, which, as we determined previously, does not necessarily cause an increase in price in the WoW tokens, at least not a sustainable one. So I'm a bit of a loss for this one. Maybe just hype for 8.1 patch, or who knows? Maybe there just is no explanation. BFA materials on the US side of things continue to see a downturn, and the materials on EU side are down, and BOE's up slightly. One very peculiar thing on the legacy materials, I actually had to stop the recording and double check this. The Primal Fire price on both EU and US is exactly 569 gold. Average for the region, of course. And that is not a mistake. Undermined Journal is reporting that on both sides of the pond. Interestingly enough, that's almost a 40% decrease on the EU side of things. So looks like a bit of volatility in that market over there. One other thing on the WoW side of things that I wanted to point out, I did get a new quote for a plus 10 key on the NA side. I was quoted at 180,000 gold, and the person that I talked to about this actually said that it could go as low as 150,000 gold, which is starting to be pretty reasonable. I mean, that's almost the price of a WoW token, so there you go. Still looking for more data, so if anybody has any information to contribute for both AOTCs or plus 10 keys on either EU or NA, or any other region really, I would love to hear about it so we can draw a little bit more interesting conclusions. Then lastly, we'll touch on this briefly. I had planned originally to talk a bit more in depth about Activision Blizzard stock this episode, but unfortunately my time's a bit short this week, so I'm not going to be able to do it the justice that it truly deserves. But do know that I am working on doing my due diligence on researching the company itself to, come up with some interesting conclusions. If you follow me on Twitter, I'll be posting updates as I go about that research. But I will say briefly that their stock price has reached 52-week lows. So for the past year, it's the lowest the stock price has been in a while. More on that in the future. Really no news this week, so we're just going to go ahead and get some QA done before we have to wrap it up. A couple questions. Do you have any tips for people starting out, just wanting some basic income? So there's kind of two parts to this question, to my answer at least. In my mind, kind of the most straightforward, if you just have no idea what you want to do to make gold, thing to do, just picking up either herbalism or mining and just going out and gathering is a pretty easy way to get started. It's, maybe not the optimal, for me at least, way to get some basic income, but it's very easy to understand. There's been a lot of optimizations from my colleagues who have posted videos about how to optimize routes and do all kinds of great things with gathering. So there's lots of resources out there. It's very straightforward, very easy to understand, and yeah, it does provide good basic income. So that's certainly something you could do. The second part of that is I would encourage you to go beyond just doing the gathering and really explore what gold making has to offer, because there are endless possible ways to make gold in World of Warcraft, and you shouldn't limit yourself just because you found one thing that is easy enough to understand. Challenge yourself. Try to find something that's, maybe out of your comfort zone, and the more you research, the more you get interested in it, the more things you might find that really do pique your interest enough to make you want to pursue them. So be curious, watch YouTube videos, read articles, go on the Reddit, do as much research as you possibly can to find out what's interesting, and then go do it. Second question, what is 2x4 farming? So this is, again, it seems like all these Q&As are on topics that I am not an expert on, but hey, it's part of gold making, and having this information is very important. So 2x4 farming is something that's sort of started being popularized with Battle for Azeroth, and it's a way of just farming in the open world that maximizes your possible loot drops. So in Battle for Azeroth, the way it works is there can be a maximum of 5 people tied or tagged on one mob in the world. But there's a caveat to that. So in order to facilitate groups not getting kind of screwed out of quest items and loot, if 4 people from one group tag a mob, and then another person from another group also tags that mob, well, then that one person from the other group also claims the loot for that mob for his group. So it's sort of a way to circumvent the maximum of 5 people per mob tag loot lockout, if you will. So in essence, instead of getting 5 people to loot the mob, you're getting 8 people to loot the mob. So the way you do it is, it's pretty simple. You just organize 2 groups of 4, make sure the leaders are on the same server, that way you don't get phased out. Then you go out and farm whatever it is in the open world that you want to farm. BOEs in BFA is a popular one. I don't know the exact spots, but there's plenty of videos out there that you can look up. Student Albatross is a great resource for spots like that, if you want to look him up. But yeah, that's pretty much what 2x4 farming is. It's an optimization for open world farming. That's going to go ahead and do it for the week. I want to thank you all for listening or watching. Again, I do apologize for the bit of an abbreviated episode this week, but I am a little bit short on time. So hopefully the market update and the Q&A is interesting and enough to hold you over until next time. And if you have any questions that you would like to discuss with me or like to have answered in a future video, you can feel free to leave them on a comment below. Reach out to me on Twitter at darkshorecap, or you can send me an email, darkshorecapital@gmail.com. Until next time, happy gold making.